Dear boomers, I had been discussing about the movie The Baby Boomer Dilemma that has to do with the retirement decisions that the boomers have made that have made it almost impossible for them to retire. But it's not their fault because the baby boomers were used as an experiment to, you know, to choose between pension plans and 401k plans. The pension plans are pretty much outdated and outmoded because nobody stays at the same job anymore as our parents did. They stayed at the same place for years and years and years. It sounds terrible. My father did that and he was very depressed, but he did it. He did it. But in this case, the movie points out that the baby boomers were used as an experiment between pension plans to choose between pension plans and 401k plans. And the pension plans was based on keeping a job forever, which doesn't happen anymore. People move from job to job or opportunity to opportunity. And the 401k plan requires financial literacy, which I don't think everybody has. The 401k, the employer gives a certain amount of money and then you give maybe the same or more, and you do this on a continuing basis. Now, in the movie, there was this couple who went with the 401k plan, and the pension plan was something they did not choose, and the wife wanted him to choose it. But he did not want to choose it. They had 7 children, and she stayed home with the children. So, nearing the end of the movie, there was the 2008 crash, and he was about to retire in 2 weeks. And unfortunately, I don't know exactly if the movie addressed their situation at the end of the movie, but what I surmise probably happened is that he had to continue working. And that would be the typical scenario. That's why and it was kind of an encapsulated example of why boomers cannot retire. And he had to probably stay at the job. And he didn't look like, he could, he wasn't maybe in the best physical shape. She was, and I suppose it's possible he had a heart attack, but I don't know. So here are some mistakes that boomers make, are known to make, and why they should avoid this. We should avoid this. First of all, they put their kids' college ahead of retirement savings. And it's natural to want the best for your children. And you want to make them go through college without having to incur loads and loads of debt. However, the thing is, many older people have already made the mistake of putting their kids through college ahead of their personal needs. And in fact, a 2009 T. Rowe Price survey found that 53% of parents identified savings for college as a higher priority than saving for their own retirement. Needing money for college was among the most commonly cited reasons for taking a recent retirement account withdrawal. But here's the thing, it's possible to borrow money for college. And while it may be the most awesome thing for your kids to start off young adulthood without a bunch of debt, your retirement could be harder to bring back after you've borrowed from it, depending on how old you are. You may have home equity. You can borrow against in a pinch, but that is not an ideal solution. Or rather than put college ahead of retirement savings, prioritize your nest egg, or try to rework your budget so there's room to save for both. Relying too much on Social Security is unfortunately not a good idea because there's a lot of controversy about pretty much decreasing Social Security benefits for us older folks by a third and probably making it unavailable for the young. But many seniors, nevertheless, do rely heavily on Social Security for retirement income. The Social Security Administration says that among the recipients age 65 and older, 37% of men and 42% of women receive 50% or more of their income through Social Security. Now, let me just say, Social Security is not an entitlement. We have paid for it throughout our life. And to suggest that it's an entitlement, as certain political parties, not the Democrats, but the Republicans have said it's an entitlement over and over again, and it's not. But what has happened is that the government has borrowed from the Social Security fund, and God knows what has been done with it. So there's basically an average benefit of $1,907, about $2,000, and for most seniors relying on Social Security benefits. And that's not a lot of money. With the possibility of benefit cuts, as we just discussed, in the future, it's not a good idea to depend on Social Security, and it could lead to a very bad place financially. So what is the better bet? To save independently for retirement, so you have an income to rely on outside of Social Security. If you contribute $400 a month to an individual retirement account, for instance, an IRA or a 401k over 30 years, and your investments in that account give you a 10% annual return, which is consistent with the stock market's average, you'll end up with a nest egg worth $790,000. Oh, God. Underestimating senior health care costs. That's a problem. People don't understand that when health care and health issues become more of a potential when you get older, that will rise in retirement. But you might be shocked to learn that last year, Fidelity estimated the cost of health care in retirement at $150,000 for someone retiring at 2023 at age 65. Now, there are many factors that will determine what senior health care costs end up amounting to, but it's not bad to assume the worst and save accordingly. One thing, I'm not, I'm the kind of person who believes in a higher power to have my back. But I don't like to assume the worst either. But this is, when you go to these financial talks, that's the kind of language they use. And I'm about to stop going to financial talks, but I am taking some proactive measures. One thing it does, it makes sense to do, is to contribute to a health savings account while you're still employed and reserve those funds for retirement. The nice thing about the health savings accounts is that they don't force you to spend down your balance on a yearly basis. So you can hang on to that money for the future. And in fact, another thing about HSAs is that your investments get to grow tax-free. So it's a good thing to leave your money alone for as long as possible. The opportunity to learn from the mistakes of others is a gift. So do what you can to prioritize your retirement savings, have a realistic view of Social Security earnings, get a firm handle on what healthcare will cost down the line so you can save accordingly. So let me just say that what we've learned here is that our children can probably go into debt better than we can to fund their college education, and there are alternative ways for kids to get help through grants and scholarships and part-time jobs that can significantly reduce the financial burden of college for your children, and encourage them to apply for as many scholarships and grants as possible, And consider community colleges for the first 2 years, which can save a substantial amount. And it's important to set clear financial boundaries. Communicate with your children about your financial limits and the importance of your retirement savings. Teaching them financial responsibility early on can benefit you and them in the long term. And we can also steer away from depending too much on Social Security. And then they say that if you wait till you're 70 to pull on Social Security, you do a better job at getting more money. But I knew somebody who waited till 70 to get his Social Security, and he died. I'm so sorry. So you might be shocked to know that your health care costs could really rise after retirement. Now, it's important to have make lifestyle changes, make budgetary changes, learn to live more simply, and downsize. These things are all very important. And to familiarize yourself with what Medicare covers and what it does not. And you have to have supplemental insurance with Medicare. I mean, you don't consider it, you have to have it. And stay healthy, regular exercise, a balanced diet, preventative care. So let's just say that we were used as guinea pigs in the retirement experiment, and now we need to move ahead and be proactive so that we can live long lives and live long lives and be happy. Find extra income and a earning opportunity that brings you joy. And if you can, in my case, stay home with my dogs. My one dog has just been diagnosed with Cushing's disease, the older one, and I want to be with her, although she's not sick. So they wanted to do some extensive hormone replacement, but I'm giving her some herbs specifically for canine Cushing's. I'm very happy about that decision, and I want to be with her. I have to prepare different food for her. So these things are very important to me. Please look at the next film that comes up here and look at it, subscribe, and there's a little notification bell that you can push to come back and see me tomorrow. Love to all. Bye-bye.